Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Open eCry market commentary for the week of September 10th. My name is Toby Gennaro from Trade with Precision, and just bringing to you the week's outlook for some of the U.S. indices, some commodities, and foreign currencies. Just looking then at the ES futures here for the S&P 500 and looking at some of the big cap stocks and how the markets are moving. As we normally do, just taking a look at some of the higher time frames here to give you an idea of what some of the swing the swing setups might be in terms of the upcoming week. And just looking at this monthly chart, you can see that we've just broken above that most recent high there of right around that 1420 level. Finally got above there. We've had four nice bullish candles here, so we got 4 months. We're still right in the middle of this candle right here in the month of September, but it certainly looks like this is a strong move going higher. Just again, another representation of these pullbacks and continuing to break the high and continuing to move higher. So we move down to the weekly chart. Again, you can see that that zone there a little bit better right around that 1420 level, continuing to go higher. Don't have a lot of extension yet away from the moving averages on the weekly chart. Really kind of looking for potentially a multi-week move here in such a strong trend as this on both the weekly and the monthly chart. As we get down to looking at the daily chart, again, we've got all the moving averages aligned in order. We have just a nice series of successive higher highs, higher lows, continuing to push higher. We've got a couple of levels in here where we had this consolidation for a couple of weeks. Put in a flat level right there at that 1395 level and just continued to bounce off of that. Put in about 3 nice bullish candles right there, which gave us a nice trend flow setup right in and amongst that buy zone of the 10 and 20 period moving average. Once we broke that 1410, 1412 level, shot up pretty much to 1438 or 1430 really in one day. And so we're not just looking for a one-day move here on a strong trend like that. We're really looking for a multi-day move. As you can see in some of these other pullbacks, we got a big candle that shot up, hit a little level of resistance, and then just continued to grind higher with a lot of small candles. So a way that you can tell this is by looking for some divergence on some of the higher time frames, like the 60, the 120, the 240, and then you'll see some of these consolidations and pullbacks. But in very strong trends, you're just going to see a lot of divergence on some of the smaller time frames, and the price action is just going to continue to grind higher based on that. As we move down, looking at the 480 chart, you can see some of that overextension a lot better based on the most recent move that we've had. So I'd really be looking not for a pullback into the moving averages just yet, but something, maybe a pullback into like that 1425 level, 1420 level, probably the low maybe there of 1416, which would then give us an opportunity to get long again on a pullback, and then start to move higher and put in a new high above this 1438 level. So obviously the markets like this at this point, when they start moving back up, we're just looking for some of these pullbacks then to try to get long the market. We're really looking for a multi-day move here, something similar to what just happened back here. So you're probably going to see a lot of small candles and want to find a way to get into the markets and find a safe entry point in order to do that. So it might be a trend flow setup on some lower time frames. It might be a flat level break on some lower time frames. But that's kind of what we're looking for here in the upcoming week. Is just a place to join this very strong trend moving higher. So that's the outlook for the week on the ES futures. And just looking at the longer term time frame here, this 1540 level is really going to be probably the ultimate high for us here. Looking to move again, probably that next 100 points. That congestion period that we're in right now is right around that 1440 level up to probably around that 1450 level up to around that 1500 level. So keep some of those ideas in mind in terms of how to join this trend and how to get locked in on some of the lower time frames with both the trending strategies that we're teaching in the advanced course, and you can get a better idea of how to join by getting involved with those flat levels and some of those trend flow setups. Okay. And switching over to looking at some of the small caps here on the Russell 2000, looking at the Russell futures contracts, and again looking here at the daily chart, we can see pretty similar setup here as we were looking at on the S&P 500. We're moving back up into this basically this flat level here of 857. So we've already got 2 touches there. There's a pretty good opportunity here for maybe to either break this level slightly and then get some kind of a pullback, or begin to consolidate up here around this level, set up a flat level, then to break and to move higher. So on the monthly chart, then looking here at the weekly chart, we can see that we're just a little closer. We're getting right back up into that 840 level, 845 level, which has been, we've had a couple of touches there before, right around 846, 847. So we're moving up into there pretty nicely. The market's really trending here for the last 5 days on the Russell contracts here. What would we like to see right now? We got a little bit of an overextension here from the moving averages, that 10 and 20 period, and wouldn't mind seeing a nice pullback here into that 820 level if we can get it. Not necessarily looking for a pullback back into the moving averages. We just got that. We're really looking for a significant multi-day move here and a move back up into that 857, 860 level probably before we see a pullback. Going down to the 480 chart, again we have not a whole lot of overextension like we saw on the S&P futures, but we do have a little bit of overextension, but it still looks like we might be getting potentially a pullback, maybe into the moving averages on the 480 and the 240, maybe back down to that 827 level or that 830 level, and then looking to push higher after that. So keep in mind that we're looking for really those trend flow setups, the flat level breaks, where we can find them, and more than likely we're going to be looking on some of the intermediate time frames like the 480, the 240, the 120, or the 60 to start to look for some of those candles as we get pullbacks in the market, shallow pullbacks within those that buy zone, that 10 and 20 period moving average level. So keep an eye out for some of those levels on some of those time frames and try to find the safe spot to join this trend. And taking a look here at the dollar CAD on the monthly chart, you can see we've got most of these moving averages rolled over. They've been rolled over for quite some time. It's been an extended downtrend for quite a while, as you can see on the weekly chart. The most recent move here over the last couple of months just put in really a brand new low right there below 98. So we have, as we move down to the daily chart, you can see a nice flat level there with 3 touches that just broke right around that 98.5 level. We got that move right back down into that 97.6 level. Potentially, I'm looking here on the monthly chart. We could get back down into this 94.5 level, which would be very reasonable. But I'd be looking for basically a pullback back up at this level on the 480 chart. So right about that 98.4, 98.5 level. If we can get that pullback this week, it'll put us right back in and amongst the sell zone right there on the 10 and 20 period moving average. Then we start looking for that setup candle, bearish candle, to then go short to the downside, and then look for that next move either back down to the 97.6 level or back down to some of these other lower levels like that 94.2 level. So keep an eye out for the U.S. CAD and some of those moves back into the flat level. You can usually get a lot of sell orders that are going to be collecting around there for at least some kind of a move lower, at least back down in to that most recent low there at 97.6. So see if you like some setups there on some of those intermediate time frames like the 480, the 240. Potentially you might even get that setup aligning up right here on the daily chart as well. But make sure you're looking for multiple time frames across across some of those daily and lower time frames to find that move back and then get that setup candle in the sell zone. And lastly, looking at the pound dollar on some of the lower time frames. So we're a little bit mixed up on the monthly chart. Been in a consolidation here for quite some time. You can see here on the weekly chart we have a number of successive weeks continuing to make higher highs, higher lows. We can see that really clearly here on the daily chart. Had a little bit of consolidation there for looks like about a month, and then really for about almost the past couple of weeks, really been putting in higher highs, higher lows. Got the moving averages all in alignment and fanning to the upside, and that looks really good now on the 480 as well. So we can really take advantage of this trend here on some of the the daily charts and below, and look for the 480, the 240, the 120, and the 60. Look for those pullbacks back into that buy zone, and then look for those setup candles to go higher on the trend flow candles. You're always going to get a lot more of the trend flow setups than you do, say, the flat level setups. But continue to be looking for both. Whenever you start to get a consolidation of some candles and the moving averages kind of catching up, then all of a sudden you're more than likely to start putting in that flat level and then start looking for the breaks of those flat levels. So these can be some smaller swing trades or even some potential intraday trades just by looking for those two strong trend setups that we're teaching in the advanced course. Okay, so keep an eye out for that on the pound dollar. So that'll wrap up the outlook for this week. We'd like to thank you all for watching the Open eCry market commentary for the week of September 10th, and we do look forward to speaking to you again next week.